Mr. President and distinguished delegates, we are pleased to note the proposal for the traditional topic of international terrorism to be discussed in the context of a new dimension, namely war against violence and violent extremism, during the second part of the second half-day meeting on Wednesday. We look forward to engage on this important topic. Mr. President, we thank His Excellency the Secretary General and the ELCO Secretariat for the report of the SecGen on the work of the ELCO, document OC1. Malaysia notes that there is no proposal to increase member states' annual contributions for the year 2015. Malaysia is also pleased to note that the status of collection of areas has improved, as highlighted in paragraph 83 of the report. In this regard, Malaysia congratulates His Excellency the Secretary General and the ELCO Secretariat on the success of these efforts. We will share our views on this report when this item comes up for deliberations. At the outset, we are pleased to read the Secretariat's very positive proposal to implement cost-cutting measures as mandated by this body. This is reflected, among others, in limiting the number of printed documents for the current annual session. We look forward to hear further from the Secretary General on this critical issue, and we would support his proposed efforts to strengthen human resources at the Secretariat. Thank you, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of Malaysia for his statement, and the next speaker is the distinguished representative of Thailand.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, Mr. Secretary General, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is with great pleasure for my delegation to participate in the 53rd annual session of the Asian Africa Legal Consultative Organization. On behalf of the Thai delegation, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Your Excellency for your election as the President of the 53rd session of ALCO. Our sincere congratulations also go to the Vice President. Under your able leadership, my delegation believes that this mission will come to a successful conclusion. I would like to assure you of my delegation's full cooperation. My delegation also wishes to express its profound gratitude to the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran for the warm hospitality and excellent preparation of this meeting. I also would like to thank the ALCO Secretary General and his staff for the reports on the topics to be discussed at this meeting, which would provide a good basis for our deliberation. Mr. President, Thailand attaches great importance to the work of ALCO and has valued its role as a forum to exchange views and experiences on legal matters of common concern, as well as its effort to develop common legal positions of ASEAN African states ever since its inception in 1956. ALCO work has progressively and significantly strengthened our cooperation in the codification and progressive development of international law. Thailand would also like to express its appreciation toward ALCO's role in organizing workshops and seminars in various topics throughout the year. Such activities have provided opportunity for ALCO members to share knowledge and exchange views, as well as to strengthen capacity building. As regards this issue of capacity building, I am pleased to inform you that Thailand successfully hosted a United Nations regional course in international law for participants from Asia Pacific in Bangkok in November 2012. Thailand has expressed its readiness to host another session in the future. In addition, we are of the view that capacity building in the field of international law is particularly important, and that the UN program of assistance in this field should be funded by the UN program budget rather than a voluntary contribution, as reflected in the UNGA Resolution 67/91 and 68/110, in order to ensure the continued effectiveness and success of the program. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, I would like to touch upon some topics that Thailand looks forward to discussing with fellow ARGO delegation during this session. On issues relating to law of the sea, having become party to the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, in 2011, Thailand is receiving its law and regulation in order to harmonize them with the provisions of the Convention and to introduce measures in order to protect and preserve its national interest. On the issue related to World Trade Organization, or the WTO, Thailand welcomes the successful outcome of the 9th WTO Ministerial Conference held in Bali, Indonesia, in December 2013. Thailand believes that the outcome of the 9th Ministerial Conference is a significant step in bringing back the charm of multilateral trading negotiations. However, it is of Thailand concern that the protocol relating to the agreement on the trade facilitation, which is part of outcome, has resulted in a deadlock due to different views of the WTO members. This has caused a delay in commencing its ratification process. Therefore, Thailand would like to urge the outer WTO members to comply with the agreed approach and timelines of the agreement on trade facilitation, as well as other significant outcomes in Bali. On environment and sustainable development, Thailand is committed to address climate change seriously through a variety of innovative measures, including building low-carbon society and lowering greenhouse gas emission, as well as disaster prevention and management. In order to achieve those commitments, a series of relevant laws and regulations are under process of amendment and enhancement, such as laws and regulations on climate change, issues of biodiversity, and the carbon emission bill. On the invaluable work of the International Legal Commission, Thailand has always closely followed their development. Thailand is proud to see Ambassador Kriengsak Kittichai-Seri, a member of the IRC from Thailand and chairman of the IRC working group on the topic obligation to extradite or procedure. He has guided the IRC's deliberation on that topic to a successful conclusion this year. As you are aware, Ambassador Kittichai-Seri is also a member of the Eminent Person Group of ARGO, which he continues to advise ARGO in both administrative and substantive matters. My delegation will elaborate more on our views toward the topics of our particular important interest, including immunity of state officials from foreign criminal jurisdiction and protection of persons in the event of disaster. Mr. President, on Thailand's role of contribution to international community, I would like to take this opportunity to inform ARGO delegates that Thailand has launched a campaign to promote its candidature for non-permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council, UNSC, for the term 2017 to 2018. As a medium-sized developing country, Thailand strongly supports a rule-based multilateral system with full respect for sovereign equality among nations. We believe that partnership between UNSC and regional organizations such as ARGO will become even more important in addressing the multifaceted challenges of the world today. Furthermore, Thailand also presents its candidature for the membership of the United Nations Human Rights Council, HRC, for the term 2015 to 2017, with an aim to share its experience and values in human rights protection and promotion at the international level. The Royal Thai government strongly believes that Thailand is well placed to serve on both the UNSC and UNSCR. We would therefore greatly appreciate valuable support from distinguished member states of ALCO at the aforementioned elections. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, Thailand would like to express its appreciation to government of the People's Republic of China for their proposal to host the 54th annual session of ALCO in China next year, considering that 2015 would mark the 60th anniversary of the Bandung Conference, which was an important step in promoting Asian-African economic and cultural cooperation. My delegation wishes to take this opportunity to reaffirm the Royal Thai government commitment and support to ALCO tremendous work and effort. I look forward to a fruitful discussion at this ALCO section. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
I thank the distinguished representative of Thailand for his statement, and now I give the floor to the distinguished representative of India. You have the floor, Madam.
Thank you, Mr. President. India joins other delegations in congratulating you on your election as President of the 53rd session. We are sure that your wisdom, experience, and expertise will steer our deliberations to a successful conclusion. We also congratulate the Vice President for her election. India thanks the government and people of the Islamic Republic of Iran for hosting this annual session in this beautiful and historic city of Tehran. We thank them for the excellent arrangements made for this session and for the warm hospitality extended to us. Our appreciation is also due to the Secretary General and his staff for the excellent preparations they have made for our current session, including the preparation of documents to help in our consideration of the various agenda items. Mr. President, I would like to recall that India was one of the 7 founding members of ALCO. We continue to attach highest importance to ALCO and its work, and are proud to be the host country of ALCO since it was established. ALCO is a legal consultative organization purely for deliberation on legal matters. This differentiates ALCO from other regional and international organizations which generally focus on political aspects of interstate relations. This makes ALCO a unique and one of its kind organization, and we are of the view that it should continue to focus on legal aspects of interstate relations. ALCO and annual sessions involve deliberations on select topics of international law. This year, topics chosen for deliberations are of great importance to us, particularly environment and sustainable development, status and treatment of refugees, law of the sea, extraterritorial application of national legislation, sanctions imposed against third parties, World Trade Organization and Code of Conduct for World Trade, and deportation of Palestinians. My delegation would be expressing views on the above-mentioned items as and when the agenda items are taken up. We look forward to hear the views of member states and participate in the deliberations in the special half-day meetings on select items on the agenda of the International Law Commission and violent extremism and terrorism, and also the working group on identification of customary international law. Mr. President, we would also like to highlight a couple of organizational matters which are of concern to us because we feel that they are important for the efficient working of this organization. The primary objective of ALCO is to function as an advisory body to its member states in the field of international law. Hence, legal staff of the Secretariat plays a crucial role in functioning of the organization and discharge of its mandate. It's a matter of concern that the staff strength continues to diminish on a yearly basis. For example, the sanctioned staff strength in the legal category is 10 to 12 officers. Presently, this staff strength is reduced to just 2. We believe that ALCO has the potential to contribute more in the field of research, publications, and capacity building exercises. Reduced staff strength gradually lowers the efficacy of the Secretariat. We take this opportunity to urge the ALCO Secretariat to recruit more officers and to put a recruitment and retention policy in place which guarantees an assured career growth for its officers in order to avoid attrition of human resources. Officers have to be recruited on a permanent basis, and their pay scales have to be kept attractive enough for bright candidates to join the organization. We are aware that the Secretary General attaches highest importance to this problem and is committed to address it. But still, we felt that the situation is very grim at the moment, and we should emphasize it. Another important concern for the member states is the huge areas of annual contribution, which has accumulated in the last several years. We appreciate the efforts made by the Secretariat and are happy that there is some positive development in this regard. We believe that Secretariat should continue to work on it and ALCO's financial position, so that the ALCO's financial position is improved and the problem of accumulated arrears can be addressed in a timely manner. We commend the ALCO Secretariat for establishing the Eminent Persons Group. We believe that the Eminent Persons Group can give inputs on the organizational and substantive aspects and give a fresh momentum and direction to the work of the organization. We wish more meetings of the EPG take place at regular intervals and the group is expanded as and when desired. To conclude, on behalf of my delegation, I wish you all fruitful deliberations and hope this annual session will provide a unique opportunity to deliberate on legal issues that impact us both regionally and internationally. Thank you.
I thank the distinguished representative of India for her statement, and now I give the floor to the distinguished representative of Sri Lanka.
Mr. President Danish Yazdi, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Mrs. Agemba Christine Anyango, Deputy Solicitor General of Kenya, the Vice President, the Secretary General, Deputy Secretaries General. Please let me first express my warm wishes to the President-elect, Honorable Ministers, Heads of Delegations, distinguished delegates and observers, panelists, and other distinguished invitees who are present today. I express my appreciation and thanks to Professor Rahmat Mohammed, Secretary General of ALCO, for the leadership and the contribution he has made in steering ALCO. During my tenure as the President of the 50th Annual Session of ALCO, I had the opportunity of observing the work of the ALCO Secretariat from close quarters. I am proud to state that the Secretary General and his deputies and the members of the Secretariat of ALCO always attended to their tasks efficiently and assiduously at all times. As one of the founding members of the organization, Sri Lanka is justifiably proud to witness the progressive expansion of activities and the recognition it has received from the international community as a leading intergovernmental regional organization rendering multitude of services to the member states and as a leading international body that is contributing to the development of international law. International law has witnessed a tremendous growth and evolution in the face of ever-changing global scenario. International law today touches the lives of everybody. There is virtually no area of international interest which is not, in one way or the other, governed by international law, be it trade, transnational crime, terrorism, humanitarian issues, and a host of other matters. Distinguished delegates, guests, and ladies and gentlemen, ALCO has devoted number of its agenda items at these annual sessions to pay attention to the concerns in relation to effects of war and terrorism. Considering the paramount importance of this issue in global context, Sri Lanka as a state urges ALCO to consider terrorism as a global threat, especially in Asian and African context. No doubt that there is a rapid increase of conflicts across the world. The number of victims who seek refuge from the conflicts as well as natural disasters, especially in the developing countries, continues to increase. In that context, the consideration of the topic, status and treatment of refugees, is topical and also vital for us, the member states. According to the UNHCR, the number of refugees, asylum seekers, and internally displaced people worldwide has, for the first time in the post-World War II era, exceeded 50 million people. The marked increase in the global total of people seeking refuge would have significant implications on both the world donor nations as well as host countries in terms of the sizable consumption of foreign aid, as well as the exhaustion of local response capacities to crisis. 5 years following the end of the conflict in Sri Lanka, over 500,000 displaced persons have returned to their places of origin. The government continues to make significant strides in forging reconciliation amongst peoples, re-establishing infrastructure, and meeting other developmental needs in order to assist those who were affected during the conflict. Distinguished delegates, guests, ladies and gentlemen, prominence and importance given by the ALCO to the topic of environment and sustainable development is most welcome. The notion of sustainable development, which owes its origin to a number of environmental movements, was defined by the World Commission on Environment and Development as development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Concept of sustainable development is fast gathering momentum and forms part of the corpus of international law. The growing number of international treaties, declarations, and international practice on sustainable development are testament to its recognition. Climate change and its impact on the oceanic environment and sea level rise remain a priority policy area for Sri Lanka. Rising sea levels will pose a number of challenges to coastal communities and their livelihoods, thereby negatively impacting on the economic development efforts of the country. Such changes will also disturb the equilibrium of coastal ecosystems that would likely threaten fisheries resources in terms of the quality and quantity of fish catch. Sri Lanka ratified the Biodiversity Convention in 1994 and therefore has an international obligation to preserve its biological diversity as a global asset of tremendous value. Long history of policy and laws towards environmental protection has resulted in fairly comprehensive legal regime to protect domestic environmental issues in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is one of the countries that cause the least amount of adverse impact on the global environment. However, Sri Lanka is conscious of its obligation towards the international community and support the implementation of international treaties related to climate change, biodiversity, and on combating desertification. The ALCO consists of member states holding divergent and sometimes contentious views on many common subjects. Therefore, the annual sessions of ALCO is a time for discussions and deliberations on issues related to international law for better recommendations for the present issues with consensus and productive solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, in coming days, we will be deliberating on a variety of current and relevant matters of topical interest to us, the member countries of this organization. Our organization is perhaps the only intergovernmental organization that spans two most populous continents of the world, Asia and Africa. The dynamism of this region and the growing economic clout of the most populous countries of this region give us that much wanted leverage in the efforts that we engage both in the UN General Assembly as well as the International Law Commission. As I pointed out, at the last annual sessions in New Delhi, ALCO is continuously devoting a significant part of its time and resources to deliberate on topics that had serious bearing on world peace, sustainable development, environment, and prevention of crime and the rule of law. I also quoted from the address of His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, the President of Sri Lanka, at the 50th annual sessions of ALCO in Colombo. I quote, "It is vital to ensure greater effectiveness with regard to regulatory mechanisms at the international level in respect of issues which are of immediate concern to many of our countries in Asia and Africa. Money laundering, gun running, human and drug trafficking are linked to international terrorism. These continue to pose serious challenges which call for a prompt and vigorous response by the international community." End of quote. I wish to reiterate here that we have no time to lose. We must all move forward with renewed vigor and commitment to initiate meaningful actions to combat crime and uphold the rule of law. In conclusion, I wish to place on record that all member states should take collective steps by way of measures to ensure the stability and viability of ALCO. It is of utmost importance that all the member states should collectively develop the strength, unity, and cooperation on matters of international importance. Sri Lanka takes this opportunity to express our continued support and commitment to the organization. Kindly allow me also to take this opportunity on behalf of my delegation to thank the government and the people of the Islamic Republic of Iran for the warm hospitality extended to all of us since our arrival and for the excellent arrangements and facilities made available to us. Thank you.